Pending home sales in Ventura County just dropped almost 40% in 1 year. 40%. And yet the median sales price went up. If you're a buyer or a seller right now in this market, you need to understand what the numbers are and how to strategize through that. All right, so the first one is that pending sales collapse. This is a huge number year over year. The number of pending sales this May in 2026 was 164. Last year at this time, it was 271. That's a huge, almost 40% drop off. It's actually 39.5%. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means there's a lot less buyers out there who are sucking up those properties. So how does this affect you in the long run? Well, I'm going to get into that, how it affects sellers and buyers at the end of this video. But right now, let's talk about a little bit of context. The context is year over year, we're actually down, but not down 40%. We're down about 9.8%, which still 40% number is a leading indicator. It's something to kind of keep your eye on so you don't run into some more problems down the road. And you keep that in mind when you're looking at property or you're listing your property. The median sales price in Ventura County is $875,000. That's up a little bit over 4% of the median sales price in May of last year. There is less sellers coming on the market. That's kind of a twofold thing because you figure if you own a home, you are not going to become a buyer of a new home unless you feel like you can get that really good mortgage rate that you have on the property that you just sold. So there's a lot of people that are not putting their homes on the market, and you can see that in the data. That's only the number of homes that have actually come onto the market in May was only about 2.3% higher than last year. That's not enough to really make it a full-on buyer's market or even a balanced market. Right now, we're still in a seller's market. However, the numbers are tightening up a little bit and is becoming a little bit more in the buyer side of things. Like I said, number 3 here is the market is cooling off. Homes sold about 12% faster, but that's a little bit of a deceiving number because the homes that are selling faster are the ones that are priced appropriately or have the appropriate care given to them, have prepped well ahead of time. So the ones that sell are selling on average about 49 days. That is actually about 12% faster than last year, which was 52 days on the market. And so it is quicker. There are still a lot of homes that are not priced appropriately that are sitting out there and raising up that number a little bit. If you price your property properly, you are going to be much better positioned. Let's talk about that. If you are a seller, what is it that you need to do to make sure that if it's time for you to sell, that you are going to be able to take advantage of this moment in Ventura County? You want to do your prep work ahead of time. You want to make sure you get a realtor that knows what they're doing, knows what the market is, and make sure that you get a professional person to come out and take the pictures. But before you get to that step, you need to make sure that you walk through your house as if you're a buyer and you look at all the things that might get your attention and detract you from that house, right? It's a going standard. I know it is in my life. I always go through and repair all the things that I've been putting up with in my homes that I'm going to sell. Same thing. I've done it with cars. All of a sudden you do all these repairs and you're like, hey, I would buy this car or I would buy this house. So you want to do that if you're selling your house, right? So go through the whole property and then make sure that you are pricing appropriately and removing all those barriers to entry for buyers. And then you are going to get greatly rewarded for that effort in this market. If you come in and you don't take care of the little things that show poorly on your house, or you just get overly aggressive, we all have pride in our house and we want to make sure that we're getting the most money out of it. But if you get overly aggressive with the pricing, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot and your house is going to stay on the market for 90 or 120 days until you get that price down. And then by then, you're probably going to make less money than you would have if you just would have priced it appropriately to begin with. All right. What does this mean if you are a buyer? Well, compared to last year, especially, you are in a much, much better position. You have some room to negotiate. You have some room to go look at things. Whereas last year, people were getting 10 offers on a property that was priced right. This year, that's not so much the case. We're getting 1, 2 offers at best, and that's if it's priced right. If you really want to take advantage of the market in this market as a buyer, look for those homes that have been sitting out there and kind of have that staleness about them because you can take advantage of that and negotiate with the seller. Now, there's reasons that those properties have been sitting on the market for a long time. understand that going in. If you are making sure that you're got all your ducks in a row, just like I told the sellers to get their ducks in a row, make sure that you're a buyer that has their ducks in a row, because when you come across that property, you want to make sure that you are able to satisfy the seller's requirements to make them as comfortable as possible. It is pretty simple, right? If you're a seller, make sure that you have your property prepped and ready to be sold. Make sure it's priced right. Make sure you have an agent that understands the market and understands how to negotiate on your behalf. And if you're a buyer, do basically the same thing. Make sure that you check out the properties that you like and make sure that you have your lending in order and that you know what kind of a price you are truly comfortable with. I always include making sure that you have a insurance agent involved in Ventura County, especially you're up in the hills. If you're up against the coast, it's not as big a deal, but it's not a bad thing to have in place ahead of time. All right, those are the basics on this stuff. I'm going to just run through the numbers real quick. So at the end of this video, so you can really see what the numbers are, not necessarily my realtor jargon that I've thrown into it. So the pending listings were, like I said, 164 in May, and there was 271. That's 39% off. And then the pending listings year to date, and this is where I said it was softened a little bit, but it's not as bad as the numbers look like just for May. There was 1,108 homes that went pending so far in Ventura County, compared to last year at this time was 1,239. The median sales price is up to $875,000. That's about 4%. The average sales price, this includes all the luxury, everything, right? That is up over $1 million. So there's still those higher end properties that are selling that are bringing that number up. Active listings, 892, which is barely above what it was last year, which was 872 at that in May, and that's only up 2%. That's negligible. Like, that's just a rounding error at that point. The absorption rate, which is how fast the market is actually absorbing all this property and selling it, like the buyers are coming in. A good average market absorption rate that is even split for between buyers and sellers should be around 6 months. It's currently at 3.69 months. So needs to move a little bit in one direction to get those buyers in that equal footing, right? But we're doing better. The average days on market, like I mentioned, is 49 versus 56. I think I said 52 earlier. Sorry about that. But it's down 12%, which is a little bit quicker. And the median days on market is only 20. And what number is that? That is, if you price right, you are going to be in contract in less than 3 weeks. So make sure you do that. And then the sales price to list price ratio is actually really tight. Average nationally is about 97. In Ventura County in the month of May, that average is 98.7, which is the difference between what you list for and what you actually sell it for. So those are my numbers for May. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon.